The goal of this recording is just to get you some more practice with multiplying to create those opposites. And just so you know, there's always more than one way to do the multiplications correctly. Here's my advice. Let's take a look. Now, if you want to be consistent, if you just want to do the same thing every time that will always work, then eliminate your x's. Multiply the top equation by the bottom coefficient, multiply the bottom equation by the top coefficient, and then do a check just to make sure that you have your signs creating opposites. So in this case, right now I'd have two positives, so I'm going to make one of these negative. Multiply this out, and what are you going to have? You're going to have 10x plus, 10 times 4 would be 40x plus 20y equals 120. Multiply by negative 4 on the bottom, so negative 40x, there's our set of opposites, plus 28y equals negative 24. Now we're not going to finish this system. I'm going to leave it here because our goal is just to make sure we get that set of opposites going. There is nothing wrong with this. However, I will say that it makes some of the numbers a little big, and there are smaller ways to get it done. Here's one way. Let's take a look at 4 and 10, and take a look at what's called the least common multiple. So just start listing multiples of 4. And take a look at the multiples of 10. So 10 times 1, 10 times 2, 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3. Eventually, you're going to find a number that exists in both lists. This is called the least common multiple. Common because it's between them, and least because it's smallest. Now, if you find that least common multiple, it can just make your numbers a little smaller. Here's what I mean. Take these same two equations. Tell you what, I'm actually just going to do a quick copy here and paste over here. And we're not going to create a set of opposites again, but this time I'm going to multiply on the top, not by 10, but by, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the bottom here by 1, 2, by 2. And what we're going to see is that we still get a set of opposites, but the numbers are just a little bit smaller. We again need to make sure that we make one of these negative so that we have the opposites. 5 times 4 on the top is 20x. 5 times the 2y is 10y. 12 times 5 is 60. Negative 2 times 10. There's my set of opposites. Plus 14y equals negative 12. Now, it's not that one of these is good and one of these is bad. These both work. So like I said, if you just want to do the same thing every time, do the red way. No problem. If you want to try and keep your numbers small, do what we just did here with the blue way. And there you go. Let's go again. So step 1, check and see. Is there an easy way to multiply a 3 into a 5 or a 3 into a 10? No, not if you want to use whole numbers. So we're going to need to multiply both equations again. I'd like you now to do a quick pause. Try a multiplication, and then unpause when you're ready to check and see how I choose to do it. Okay, I'm going to eliminate my x's, and I'm going to use that first method where I just take the top equation times this bottom coefficient, and then the bottom equation times the top coefficient, and then I'm going to check my positives and negatives. Is this going to give me... No, see, that would give me 2 negatives. So instead, let's make this a positive 5 on the bottom. That'll give me negative 15x in the top equation, and then positive 15x from the bottom equation. All right, here we go. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15x. 3 times negative 10, negative 30y equals 15. And then down here, positive 15x. Okay, there's my set of opposites. Plus 15y equals, the negative 15 times 5 is negative 75. Again, we're not going to finish the system this time, but once you have that set of opposites, you're ready to add your equations and go. Don't forget to always check and see if you can multiply just one equation, because if you can, that's typically the easier way. So I'm checking, is there an easy way to turn a 7 into a 14? There is. I can multiply by 2. Specifically a negative 2. That way, I would get a positive 14x on the top and a negative 14x on the bottom. Very, very cool. All right, top equation doesn't change because there was no multiplying happening. And then the bottom equation, negative 2 times 7, negative 2 times negative 4, negative 2 times 12. And there you go. In this case, we actually ended up with 2 pairs of opposites. Doesn't always happen, but it happens sometimes. As long as you have 1 pair of opposites, you're good to go. Okay, one more here. Once again, I would like you to do a quick pause. Multiply, let's see what happens, and then unpause when you're ready to check. So one method you could use is to multiply the top equation by 4, bottom equation by 6. That'll work. I'm going to use this least common multiple method just to practice it. So I'm going to eliminate my x's, looking at multiples of 6, 6, 12, 18, etc. Multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, and there we go. That's my least common multiple. So to make that happen, I'm going to multiply my top equation by 2. That's because 6 times 2 is what gives you 12. And the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply by 3, since the 12 is the third number in the list. And then a quick check. Am I going to have a positive and a negative? I am. So it'll be a set of opposites. So on the top, 12x's plus 8y's equals 40. And then on the bottom, negative 12x's, there's my opposites, plus 18y equals 12. We are ready to add and put those things together.